thought there was a new,
She forgot the stuff.
there's a new
Oh,
Facebook.
I
I told her, I thought she had it in her
Yeah,
folder.
I tried to take it, that wasn't it. I told her I
Oh.
can't hang around afterwards, so please get in here.
Alright.
Where else where phone lines go in your home if they're not in the attic or in the
And-
space? Well, you know, whatever.
I never got to go to the
I came over.
So John or Rod or where? They're at some meeting somewhere?
They have to fill in lots of bullets.
Yeah.
No, I hear
Helen.
They're not here.
they are at a meeting, I've forgotten where it is.
How we, but then
Okay.
at this point, it's like.
No, I've got
Glad
it.
we got that
You're fine.
straightened out.
All right.
You got that pinned down.
Okay.
Between the two of us, we don't know.
The work session's up there too, you have that?
Actually, that's the only one I have.
Yeah, staff
Just
used to
have the
attend
work
these
session.
meetings, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi used to work too.
What?
Does the Wi-Fi work?
Should.
So then.
Anybody else getting it?
I download, so I don't.
I am,
Mine's kind
the
of rough in
secret,
this area.
secret is you gotta come in
It's not even showing up.
early.
And get it? You
Get
have to
logged
be here.
on and take up the bandwidth.
Oh, there you go, hogging all the bandwidth there.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's
fine.
pretty much what I'm
Shows
doing.
up, but shows really low.
She's sitting in front of John.
Oh, I thought you told me to move there. I'm like, why would I do
You
that?
know, for about 1995,
I guess they must be what we
I
find today.
put your phone number.
Thank you.
Let's see.
You can go buy a route, you know, a network extender. I'm just saying.
I think so.
Technology is
talking to us?
available, yes. As a matter of fact,
Oh my goodness.
I was giving a tremendous suggestion.
We've spent a lot. The problem is that once we put the addition on over there, and we did bump it up quite a bit, but everybody's over there streaming as they're sitting there waiting. And so we had to put a limit on the Wi-Fi usage so that we don't get bumped off in the office. So that's, until we're ready to spend 5 figures to bump it all up and increase our bandwidth, that's kind of what we're doing. So do you want to approve something?
Yeah, well, I mean,
We want to approve
We
being
spent
able to
60
use it ourselves.
You're
That's
one of,
negotiation.
Yeah. I don't know how to direct it to just one iPad there.
so you want a special perk?
No, that's above my pay grade. Someone ought to be able to figure that out.
well, if you put a block on google.com and YouTube, right?
Netflix,
And
and
those, yeah,
music
you
streaming.
block
and-
those 3 sites, that would increase a tremendous, and Hulu, that would increase a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of bandwidth for me.
But that would make the passengers perhaps unhappy. Those with kids who are sitting here trying to
Perhaps.
wait the hour and a half.
Are you asking for an item to be added to the agenda?
What I'm just
Sean?
suggesting is maybe we do this, I don't know, on the first Tuesday of every month, or last Tuesday of every
block on one
month,
day.
just to see.
Blocking.
A trial run.
A trial run every
For the
Tuesday
next
after.
36 months.
Yeah, something like that.
There might be airports less fancy than ours that have Wi-Fi.
Well, you know what? You might be hitting back in this room too. I mean, we do have pretty good Wi-Fi service, so,
I've never had problems out there. In this room, I have problems.
Yeah.
right.
Let's
But not
call the
like
meeting
today.
to order.
I don't see no more.
We have enough on our real agenda this month.
Yes, we do.
All right,
I don't have Wi-Fi in my office sometimes.
so, yes, let's call the meeting to order. And as this group all knows, the mission of the Great Falls International Airport Authority is to optimize transportation services and development in our region. The vision is to maximize the airport's benefit to our region. Welcome, and please remember that the board appreciates your participation. If you have comments through the meeting or the work session, please stand, state your name and address, and your comments will be heard. So, let's go around the room and see who's present.
Sean Hoven is here.
Big Swenson.
Talcott here.
Dan Rooney's here.
Deb Evans here, and the other 2 commissioners are absent. Okay, so Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item is the consent agenda. As always, the consent agenda is made up of routine day-to-day items that require board action but do not appear to have significant public impact. Items may be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion, separate discussion, or vote by any board member. This month, the items are A, approval of the board meeting minutes from March 28, 2017. B, the engineering RFQ committee minutes from March 31st, 2017, and finance committee minutes April 19th, 2017. C, payroll checks totaling $84,663.96. D, maintenance and operations checks in the series 23046 to 23113, totaling $98,247.66. E, approved passenger facility charge totaling $55,000. And F, financial reports for March 2017. Anyone have any comments, questions, wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve it.
I would move we approve the consent agenda as written.
Okay,
Second it.
Sean? It's been moved and seconded that the consent agenda is accepted as presented. Any comments or questions before we vote? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Consent agenda is accepted. Director's report. Filling in for the director, we have Laura.
All right, so you know it will be a little bit quicker.
Really?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Put that in the minutes.
No, don't put, I'm doing the minutes. All right, so first thing is that FedEx walkthrough has been rescheduled for May 17th at 6:30 a.m. So I'm sure you have that all on your calendars bright and early. They're just going to show you their operation. Obviously, they're an important part of the airport, so it would be great to get people over there to see that. Next is the Google Analytics. I know that John sent something out to you guys talking about the analytics, but it really is, it's pretty impressive to see what happened. This is just a report that shows April of 2016 over April 2017. And we started on April 5th. We put a native content ad out there that was hit, and we had 4,100 people on one day hit our website because of the advertising that we're doing out in Seattle. So if you look at this report, you can see that, just the numbers, where people are coming from. Seattle, again, just this short little period, April, it even just goes through April 23rd. And so you've got almost 1,900 people from Seattle, 1,200 from Chicago, Minneapolis, Tacoma, Portland, Great Falls, San Antonio, and Dallas. So all the places that we're advertising in, we're really having we're showing some pretty impressive results, especially that 4,100. Went hasn't seen anything like that. We haven't seen anything like that. So that's good. The next issue is the full body scanner will be, it's here. It's actually, they're kind of thinking about it and working on it right now, but it'll be installed tonight. As soon as the last flight goes out, it'll be installed, and then tomorrow morning, bright and early, they'll start working with it. Last week, TSA went out to training, and so they feel like they're ready, but there might be a little bit of confusion first thing in the morning. We are having a press event on Friday, and the date is a little bit up in the time. I just heard from Tester's office, and it was supposed to be at 9 on Friday, but because of what's happening in DC, he's asking if there's flexibility for it to be at 2 o'clock, or he may not be able to make it at all. So there may be a last-minute change there. So I'll tell you, sometime on Friday, either at 9 or at 2, we may have Senator Tester up here. Regardless, we'll do something for the press. They're going to throw an individual through the full body scanner and let them see how it works.
They're
And
gonna stroll them through?
yeah, they're going to let them walk through. So that'll be good, but it will hit tomorrow.
So, having gone through security yesterday,
Yes.
Me too.
and with unnamed sources,
Okay.
I asked him, because of my metal parts in my body, I said, aren't you about ready to get one of those? He says, yeah, it's supposed to be in here in a couple of days, because they're already doing the electrical. He said, the only problem is, we haven't been trained on it yet. That's just one guy, you know, and he might, you know.
That very well could be true. They sent a group over to be trained, but I don't know how their training has
Yeah.
pushed down through the rest of the staff. So they're working on it, and they're going to need to get that up to speed.
There'll be a few bugs.
So, yeah, I do think that there'll be a little bit. And that was the other big part about the scanners. I think you guys all know now. It's just a cartoon figure on the screen. If you arm, it'll show that actual body part in real-looking images. So if you have something in your knee, it's going to show your knee, just your knee at that part if you arm. So it should be a great addition. We're excited
The
for it.
training will be during the press release.
That's why we're pushing it out a little bit too, rather than doing it Wednesday morning, so. All right, and then the last item is, I know John has also talked to you about the quitclaim deed by the county. It's going to be filed. They'll be taking it to their meeting to discuss it. It's very similar to what happened with the city. It was purchased with airport dollars, 90% with FAA dollars, 10% with airport dollars. Back in 2002, I believe, or no wait, no, it was before that. I'd have to look it up.
1999.
But I think it was 1999. And then when they transferred, the county just forgot that piece of land, and it wasn't transferred over into the airport's name when we became the airport authority. So we realized that kind of the same way as we realized what was going on with the city, and they don't have any interest in holding that parcel. The county doesn't. They would either we'd have to have it released, and then they'd have to pay fair market value for it. It's about an 11-acre parcel. So we've met with them, and they've put this quitclaim deed together, and it'll go to their meeting, and then you guys will see it come into our meeting here to make sure that we want to take that parcel back. I don't have a map. I thought I did, but it's right on the end of the main runway down here, just going over top of the hill. And we've always shown it on our ALP, so we always thought it was ours. It has been ours, but we didn't realize that title wasn't transferred.
Laura, what was it? Wasn't it some project or update or something that revealed both of these?
Master
then?
plan.
So-
The master plan.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're pretty sure there's no others.
No, this should be it. We hope.
Yeah.
So, any other questions on that? Okay, I'm good then.
That's it?
That's it?
Good word. How about no capital project update?
No.
Okay. Engineering selection recommendation. So is someone going to speak on behalf of that? The minutes are all that was in the packet. Or-
I'll give you a little summary here, and then they can speak,
Okay.
the committee members. But in the packet, you did see the minutes that were put in. The committee met. They first got the packets back, the proposals from each engineering. We had 3 that applied: Morrison Merrily, KLJ, and CH2M Health. After reviewing the proposals, they did call each one of them in for an interview, and the committee determined that CH2M was the best firm for the job, and that is who the committee is recommending. So if committee members have anything that they want to say in regards to their recommendation, feel free.
Sean is the only
Yeah,
committee member
Sean's the
that's here
only-
right now. so
Well, you
Sean-
too.
And I'm committee member. Based on, all the numbers say CH2, everything, and we all agreed altogether, four of us, Sean, myself, Rod, and Commissioner Baki. So, and it wasn't an easy thing to do, because we had to go through rigorously every category, every criteria, and the scoring, and really review, like we're reviewing for qualifications here, all of them are qualified, who's best to do the job, like what can they really offer, what they've already done, what are they gonna do, and their presentations, and their understanding of the job, and what really is the future, it really is, what are they gonna do, because like it's over 5 years, over 5 years work that's gonna be done in the airport, so, and everybody understood what they're gonna rate. So, and we, eventually in the end, we agreed, and we're actually unanimous based on the numbers still. The numbers say it all, and I always tell you, the numbers don't lie, especially if you don't know what other people are rating on, as long as you have the criteria to rate them, so. And I think the system worked. You want things to add?
We had a very, different categories, ranked them 1 through 5, listened to their presentations. I don't think any of the 3 would have been a bad choice. I thought all were qualified, all had a good written presentation. There was a definite differentiation in the public presentation or the interviews, and the difference wasn't significant enough to me to change current supplier. I mean, we have a current relationship with CH2, and there wasn't any reason to change that I could deduce.
Okay.
So we all supported CH2.
And that is true. I mean, CH2M has done a good job for us. What you guys will be agreeing to is, if you approve it, is to enter into a 5-year contract with CH2 on the Hill for engineering services for the airport.
Okay.
It's always been 5 years.
Yes,
It's always been 5 years.
We did get an extension.
we've extended,
Yeah, we had a 1-year extension with CH2 because of monies and projects and so
Yeah.
forth, this last go around.
Okay. So are you going to make the motion on behalf of the committee?
Actually, I got an email from both of Bucky and Sion that other than our meeting, that they support the choice of CH2. I've got an email from Sion recommending motioning it and for CH2, and got another email from Bucky what you call it?
Seconding?
Seconding it, yeah. But then I don't know whether you guys still
Yeah.
have
They need to be here.
That was
They
just us,
still
the
need-
committee.
Right, that's the
Yeah.
committee.
So-
We
For
need-
the committee alone, but
Yeah.
for this purpose, that's.
So the committee recommends to the board via a motion, I move that the board accept CH2M as our engineering firm for the contract for the next 5 years.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the recommendation of the committee to engage, I always get the name mixed up, sorry.
I think it's CH2 on the Hill.
CH2 and Hill.
CH2M Hill for another 5-year period. Are there any questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Okay.
It's quick, huh?
Pardon?
Everything is quick.
Yeah, it certainly is. Blazing speed here. The next item is the FedEx airline lease agreement,
Did not.
which will be familiar to you from last month's work session. So, Laura, are you going
Yeah,
to speak to that?
Sure. Yeah, and John gave a good summary of what was going on with this last time. The summary of it, and a quick summary, is just that when we entered into an agreement with FedEx, when we built that facility over there, we had an agreement of how they were going to be charged. It's not the best agreement, so a year or two into that, the past director said we're going to treat FedEx like they're a signatory airline, but we never signed anything or entered into a formal agreement. So this past year, after doing the reconciliation and telling FedEx that they owed, I think it was $3,000, something like that, they said, well, why are we paying that? And we can't pay that without having some type of formal agreement. So although it's kind of silly at the end of the agreements to be folding them in, they need to have something in writing to be able to pay it. And it's obviously, it's good practice to have that signed agreement for how we're operating out there. So I've been putting an agreement together that basically takes the existing airline agreement that is several years old. It was back in '03, I think, that we originally wrote it. But then we've had a couple of addendums to it since then. So I've put the addendum 1, addendum 2 in there so that this agreement for FedEx could be extended, could continue, which is what we would recommend for the signatory airlines. At the end of this, it's June of 2018 that it expires. So we may have a few changes in there that we would use an addendum to address, but for the most part, we'd like this agreement to continue forward. So they have one agreement that folds it all in that would work to be able to go forward with it. The one difference in there that John talked about last month and is in your packet here is to make sure that they have a penalty. The other airlines, if they leave, have to pay their terminal rent still. And since FedEx doesn't have any space in the terminal, they would get out, they'd be able to cut and run. So we wanted to have that fee in there that if they did terminate. And that is also what made the other airlines agreeable to letting FedEx go signatory. So that fee, that termination fee would be 25% of their normal annual landing fees based on a 3-year average for the 3 previous years, which would be around $47,000 per year that they'd have to pay until the end of the contract. Obviously, right now, FedEx isn't going anywhere. They're still paying on the building over there, which we're going to talk about that later in the work session. So there isn't a lot of fear here in entering into this agreement. And in fact, it helps obviously having them here with those landing fees to keep the cost down for everybody. So we do want to keep them. I think that's about it. I mean, our recommendation is just to enter into this agreement to basically capture how we have been charging them. So, questions?
The proposal is just till the end of 2018 with the anticipation that it can be extended.
Correct.
Given that FedEx is going to stay.
Right.
Will stay.
They'll still be staying in 2018. We hope they're still staying,
Sure.
for many years out. But yeah, they're at least, they are still locked in with the debt through 2020
Sure.
or 2021.
They're paying the signatory rate anyway today. This allows us to get a termination clause in there. Does FedEx, are they aware of the termination clause?
Yes,
So John has spoken to them about that. They seem receptive to that?
yes.
Okay.
Because of the savings they're getting by being signatory.
Okay.
You know, if they were non-SIG, they would pay, they'd pay quite a bit more. So we're just kind of offsetting that.
The departure penalty is about a third of the airlines.
Quarter.
What's the rationale there, and are the airlines on board with that?
They are, because again, we're looking at the savings that FedEx is making by being signatory. So they save about $90,000 by being signatory. So if they were non-signatory, they'd be paying that extra $90,000. So we were adding together basically what we aren't getting. See if I can explain this.
Yeah, you're going.
What we aren't getting, do you want to explain it? What we aren't getting for the non-SIG rates, the 90,000, we were trying to match that 130 by having the $47,000 penalty in there. So they wouldn't have a penalty if they were non-SIG. So we would be 90,000 up, but they could leave and there would be no penalty. So we're trying to just make up the difference there. I don't know if I'm getting that to you.
I picked it up.
Okay. So we're just trying to make up the difference there between them being signatory and non-signatory.
Okay, and the airline committee is, again, in agreement with that?
They are,
Okay.
they are.
The current one is the current committee, but in a year, could they say, you know, I don't know, should be 40% or something,
In 2018, when we renegotiate, they certainly could say that, for sure. And then that would be, again, we've been treating FedEx like this, we're just capturing it, so we would have to figure out, if FedEx wasn't game for the 40%, we'd have to figure out what direction to go. Still shouldn't be a problem in 2018 because
right,
they're still locked in.
right.
It would be after that an issue could arise.
It is a little confusing to
Mhm.
wrap your head around this.
The airline committee is aware of the 25% though.
Yeah, they're the ones that really came up with it. Delta is the head of the committee.
Only thing that's changing is now they have a penalty if they leave.
Yep,
And we have a written
and
agreement.
signing something.
Yeah, and
Correct.
now it's written. Yeah.
Yep.
I move we accept it, or we go with staff recommendations on the FedEx contract.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the staff recommendation requesting authority to execute a signatory airline agreement with FedEx on terms similar to the existing passenger carriers, plus the addition of a departure penalty that is agreeable to the passenger airlines, the airport director, and FedEx. Said agreement to expire with passenger carrier agreements in 2018. Any other questions or comments on that topic? All those in favor of the motion, excuse me, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. And the third item is also familiar from last month, the terminal seating and carpet expenditure.
So John did talk about this last month as well, and it's just the play area here that we've never finished. We're going to have a lot of, well, bigger flights, more passengers going out of that gate 3 this summer, with Alaska and with the Minneapolis flight being a larger aircraft. So we're going to be about 60 seats short in that area for this summertime. So what we're proposing is to purchase some additional seats. It'll be about 24 additional seats, and then carpet that area. Just put the seats on the 3 sides of the alcove there for the children's area. The Lewis and Clark Foundation is still putting something together to do in that area, and we're getting word that they're close. So we don't want to do anything that's going to be wasted. We would take those seats out after they decide what they're going to do. Maybe some of the seats would stay in, or maybe they would all go. We don't know for sure, but we would definitely be able to use them in that area anyhow. And then we would use other benches from other areas in the terminal to pull over to hit the other 60 people that were short. So it's a $14,000 cost right now to put those additional seats and the carpet in. But again, we'll be able to use those seats in that area or throughout the rest of the secure area back there. So we'd recommend going forward with that purchase.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It's amazing how much seating costs.
It's crazy. And we actually just got an estimate back, and it was crazy. We have expensive tastes over there. We picked out the most expensive fabric, which we tend to do. It looks nice, but so we're looking at some other options and planning to keep it under that 14,000. But those seats over there are just ridiculous.
So can we get an idea? I mean, if they're getting pretty close to putting an exhibit in there, I just hate to do things twice. You know, like drilling holes in your nice floor and,
Right.
you know, and buying seats for a layout that might change here shortly.
Right.
Have we attempted to find out what their layout is so we can match the seating with it?
The only thing that we've looked at is the carpet, and we were gonna get bare bones carpet that if we did tear it out here in a year, that it would be minimal cost. I don't know that we were going to secure those. I don't know if they have to be secured to the floor, those chairs, or if they would be easily moved. But it's something that we could do that, and we could also put these chairs in another place. I mean, we need the seating regardless, the extra chairs, so if between now and then as well, if we can get a better idea on what the foundation wants to do, we could make those changes up front. But it was kind of an area that's not being used that would fit some people, and so that's how we were looking at it. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't picture how they're gonna put an exhibit in there and you're gonna get seating. You know.
You're not gonna have 24 seats in there anymore, well, you know, once the exhibit goes in there. They were still shooting to have some seats in there for parents to sit around when the kids are playing, but you're not gonna have 24 in there, for sure.
So hopefully the seats that are being looked at are going to be multi-purpose. They could be used
Yes.
somewhere else because they won't be here permanently.
Well, and we want to make sure that they can be used in the back or in the front because we have some aging chairs out in this section as well. So we're trying to make sure that we're matching both so that they can be used wherever in the future.
It's been dead space long enough.
It has.
Motion, anyone?
I move we approve the recommendation of staff and move forward with plans as submitted.
Second?
I'll second that.
Second? I just shut it off, so if it's okay, I'll just say, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the recommendation of the staff regarding the purchase of additional seating not to exceed $14,000. Is that close enough?
Yes, yeah.
Any questions, comments, additional questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried. Passed. Wow, look at that. Not even 30 minutes. We haven't gone through the public comments yet. We haven't gone through the board comments yet. So we'll start there. John, any comments?
No, thank you.
Dick? No? Brad?
Thanks for running an efficient meeting.
No comment.
No comments? I don't have any either. So, public comments? Anyone?
No
Yeah.
comment.
No comments? Phew, okay. With no further business to come before the board, I declare this part of the meeting adjourned. So you want to just move right into the work session? No one needs a break after 28 minutes?
Yeah. It's a world record here.
Yeah, we might have.
I'm gonna get some water.
Okay.
There's some pretty bright